أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وبعد. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا، اللهم زدنا علما وارزقنا فهما يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. After we praise the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, peace and blessings unto our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his families, friends, and all those who follow him. My beloved brothers and sisters, allow us to continue with the power of the kalima La ilaha illallah, or the words of La ilaha illallah. When we say this, it is also become a form of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can do that within yourself. You can do that wherever you find yourself, in your car, wherever. You can utter it. And when we do that, just listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say to us. فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. When you remember me, when you say La ilaha illallah, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ, I will remember you. Subhanallah. Now, having that in mind, when you say La ilaha illallah, apart from the power of it, the understanding of it, but just to understand, when I say it, Allah remembers me. Ya Rab. Look at that. And you can say it in your car, you can say it, mashallah, when you sit in a masjid. And that in itself is a great ni'mah. Not only to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but that Allah afford you the opportunity to be able to say La ilaha illallah. That, and if we look what Allah speaks immediately after that, washkuruli, appreciate me. So when you say La ilaha illallah, it reflects also your appreciation of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with. And like I've said, the first blessing is to be able to say La ilaha illallah. That is a ni'mah indeed. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is a powerful word. La ilaha illallah will save us from the punishment of the grave. La ilaha illallah will bring us the comfort that if we utter it while departing this world, while the soul is departing the body, with the permission of Allah, that will take us to Jannah. And not only that, through the utterance of this word from the heart, will qualify you with sincerity, of course, will qualify you to be able that the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi will intercede on behalf of you the day of Qiyamah. Why do I say this? Because when we say it with sincerity, look what the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi said. Tuba lil mukhlisin. All the success, all the happiness shall be for the sincere people, the individuals that are sincere. Now when you sit alone, for an example, you say La ilaha illallah within yourself. You don't have to say it with a loud voice. That to me, my humble submission, reflects sincerity. And through that, subhanallah, look what Allah has blessed us with, that the Nabi will intercede on behalf of us the day of Qiyamah. Meaning that the Nabi will speak to Allah to let us not go to Jahannam, let us go to Jannah. that in itself is one of the greatest ni'mah. And you know, it reflects Tawheed. It reflects the oneness of Allah, where you now say, there's no one deserve to be worthy of worship except Allah. That's what you're actually uttering. And you do it within your life. You practice it. So this word will take us to Jannah. And allow me also to mention something that's my humble submission. When the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi said, خير الدعاء دعاء يوم عرفة. He said the best of dua is the dua of the day of Arafah. And he continues by saying, وخير ما قلت أنا والنبيون من قبلي. And the best that I have said, in other words, the best words, what I have said, and all those prophets before me was what? La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Take note. La ilaha illallah. There's no other ilah to worship except Allah, and He has no partner. He's alone. Now, why do I mention this? I mention it for the simple reason that we can understand that the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi mentioned this in the hadith where he speaks about ما من يوم أفضل عند الله من يوم. There is not a greater day by Allah than the day of Arafah. And he says the khayru dua, the best of du'as is the dua when you make it on Arafah. And this word La ilaha illallah has been said by the Nabi on this great day, the day of Arafah, to let us understand the greatness of this word, because it is mentioned on the greatest day in Islam. ما من يوم أفضل عند الله من يوم عرفة. There's not a greater day by Allah than the day of Arafah. خير dua, the best of du'as, dua يوم عرفة, the dua of the day of Arafah. And this is being said on that day, La ilaha illallah, to let us understand that's the best dua, the best words, and it is great because it is mentioned on the greatest day in Islam, which is the day of Arafah. Now look at that ni'mah that Allah has blessed the Hujjaj with. And you know, what is so beautiful, when I look at that and I say, that's my humble submission. The Nabi says, the khayru dua, dua yawm Arafah. The best of du'as is the dua that you make the day of Arafah. He did not say on Arafah. He said the day of Arafah. Subhanallah. So, we that are non-Hujjaj, that's not on Arafah, your dua that day is also one of the greatest of du'as. Subhanallah. And that is my humble submission, because the Nabi did not say on Arafah, he said the day of Arafah. So when it's the day of Arafah and you say La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, you say the most powerful words on the most greatest and honorable day in Islam, which is the day of Arafah. Look at that ni'mah. Like we have said, if we look at that now, and if we look how Allah has blessed us with as words that is very light on the tongue, La ilaha illallah. But you know, I would like to mention this also. If we look toward Allah, there's three hurufs, Alif, Lam, and Ha. Take note. And we know Allah, the name Allah, that is the greatest name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's not a greater name than the name Allah. it reflects that power, that everything that you can think of. And if we look to La ilaha illallah, in all that words, there's also 3 hurufs. Alif, Lam, and Ha. Subhanallah. Allah the greatest name is Allah. And that 3 hurufs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by His choice, has mentioned La ilaha illallah, is in the Quran. And the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi has mentioned this to let us reflect and understand that these 3 hurufs forms the name of Allah, and these 3 hurufs also form the word La ilaha illallah, to let us understand the greatness of this word. And then, how honored must we not be if Allah has chosen us to be able to say La ilaha illallah. With that, let us always continue to practice, to utter, and to live La ilaha illallah. May Allah forgive us, forgive our parents, those that has passed on. May Allah grant them and all of us Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.